Hey gang, Spade of the Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at FansProject Warbot. Now just one quick comment about the packaging. The packaging is your standard cardboard box, but thankfully FansProject went the extra mile and added a plastic shell for the cardboard box, which I greatly appreciate, considering I don't know how many collector's boxes I have that get a little bit banged up in the shipping process or get a little bit banged up in the storage process. So let's go ahead and open the box and take a look at what's inside. Out of the box, Warbot comes with everything you see here. We have Warbot himself, a little clip stand thingy, which we will talk about in a bit, a sword, which doubles as the helicopter blades, 2 guns, and a full instruction booklet in color, which I thoroughly appreciate. Unfortunately, mine came bent and kind of misshapen, but not that big of a deal. Now, Warbot himself is a very nicely detailed, good-looking figure, with a few problems. We will talk about that in a little bit, but I wanted to give you a look at the figure proper. I really do appreciate the color scheme that they chose. Warbot does look very good and is a perfect not Springer figure. The head sculpt is particularly nice. I really do enjoy this head sculpt. It is exactly what I expected from a not Springer, but Warbot does make it look good. Plus, there is no exposed screw hole in the back of the head, which I also appreciate. There, unfortunately, is no light piping, but those baby blues are painted very nice for all the world to see. So let's go ahead and get into the full review. As I said, Warbot does look very good, and his posability is quite excellent. The head is on a ball joint, but is nicely movable. The shoulders are on a swivel joint, and then you've got some in and out movement a little bit here with the transformation. You have another swivel joint here at the upper arm for in and out movement, and then a swivel joint here at the wrist, which is courtesy of a ball joint. And then the fists can move as well on a slight ratchet joint. Not a ratchet joint, I would say, but there is some ratcheting going on there. The legs are equally posable. And the hips are on a nice tight set of ratchet joints. The upper thigh swivel ratchets and is pretty tight. And then you've got plenty of posability here in the knees. And then the feet have some posability to them, but not much. Unfortunately, the figure is horrifically top-heavy. That is a real shame. If you look at the figure, he has no heels. So that is the primary concern. But you can get him posed in such a way that he won't fall over, which I do appreciate. As I said, you can get a lot of dynamic poses. This is just one of the poses that I was able to bang out in just a couple of seconds. And one other thing that I really do appreciate about this mold is there is a place to store the weapons in robot mode. Specifically for the robot mode, you have holsters here on the side of the legs. And that is just freaking awesome. I really, really appreciate that. And that means that the designers really thought of how this toy was going to be used. Now, as I said, this figure is excessively top-heavy, and that is a problem. The other issue my figure has, and I'm not totally sure if all other figures have this problem, but the knees are very loose. I mean, it wouldn't take much more effort for them to become much looser. That and these swivels are a little loose, but they still ratchet and still hold their position. Now, on the shelf, this figure looks really awesome, no matter what you do. And there are the loose knees that I was telling you about. As I said, the figure looks awesome on the shelf. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't look awesome in any other mode, but I particularly like the look of the robot mode. It's very G1-esque and just blocky, and it looks like a nice evolution of Generation 1. So we're going to go ahead and get into his alternate modes. Now he does have 2 of them, a helicopter and a armored car. So I think we'll start with the ground unit first. Yep, we'll go with the ground unit. Transformation for Warbot is very interesting and very unique for both modes. Now, I have gone ahead and removed all of the weapons and whatnot, so we will put those off to the side. The first thing we're going to do is, I like to lift the arms out of the way. That's just a personal pet peeve of mine. Then we come under here and open up that chest piece. Nice little place for the matrix there. And start folding up the chest over the head. Now, one thing you're going to notice, about halfway up, you're going to want to put your finger right in here and push down just a little bit to extend that bit so that that will actually hold the robot head. And don't be afraid if that actually pops it out, because that is going to happen. This will pop off all the time. So to fix that, push the head up a little bit and then just put this back and push it back into place. And it goes back perfectly fine. That is one little annoyance. Next, we're going to take the arms here, and there is a hinge right below where the shoulder was, so we will fold that all the way up like that, and we will do that over here. And that is very tight, so just be a little careful. And then, once that's done, we'll come back here and fold out these tabs on the back. We will untab them from these larger tabs. Next, take the arms and put them down 90 degrees, and then put the fists in. And make sure that the bottom of the fists are pointing out. So we will do the same thing here. Like that. And try not to screw it up like I'm doing. And there we go. Next, we'll fold that in thusly. And then take the shoulders and fold it in all the way, like that. As you can see, the fists are sticking out on the side of the vehicle mode. Now, it's important that the thumbs are sticking out on both sides. That's important, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Next, those side panels that are on the forearms fold up and will actually peg into these little flaps that we opened up, or these little panels we opened up. And just getting them lined up is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but once you get everything lined up, it should just fit right into place, and fits snugly into place. So there we have the front of the vehicle mode. Now let's go ahead and get on to the back of the figure. To start, we will fold the legs down just enough so that we have clearance to rotate them around fully. And then once we do that, there is a peg right there and a hole right up there. And we just want to get them lined up and pegged into place. Like that. Then, once we do that, we'll come to the feet, fold the feet up, and then we will turn the figure over so that the wheels, the front wheels are pointing to the sky, and fold the legs up. And they will just kind of snap into place. They don't really peg in anywhere, but they just sit there nicely. Finally, we'll take this top part, unpeg it from where it is, and fold it back. Now there are two peg holes there, and two pegs up here. And we'll just fold it down and snap and slide those into place to lock everything in place nicely. Now for the finishing touches. First thing we're going to do is come over to the side here and fold these bits out to fill in a little bit of the gaps. Then we take the weapons. First off, the sword. Turn the figure over, and there is a place for the sword right there. So just take the blades and just kind of have to fiddle with it, get everything lined up, and it plugs in nicely. So there we go. And then the guns, and this is my favorite part, those fists that were exposed earlier will actually hold the guns. And here we have Warbot's car mode. And I absolutely love this thing. It's just crazy. Now, you can have the guns pointing up like that. You can just bring them out a little bit. And just kind of wiggle them out a little bit and get them to be more forward-facing. Now, as I said, I absolutely love this mode. It's very, very Cybertronian. It's a all-terrain tank, really. And to be honest, this vehicle looks like something out of Deus Ex. It really does. It looks like something out of a futuristic novel or video game. And I absolutely adore it. You kind of have like a little all-terrain stealth tank. It's very cool, very well painted, very sturdy. The only issue you will have in this mode is the legs don't, since the feet don't peg in or the upper legs don't peg in, they do have a tendency to droop if you pick the figure up. But otherwise, it's fine. And it looks just badass. Going from car mode to helicopter mode is actually pretty complex. We're going to start off by coming around back here and unfolding this bit, folding it up into pegging it in, and then just dropping that down over the front of the vehicle mode, or of the car mode. Next, we're going to actually unfold the legs completely, like that, and then we're going to turn the vehicle mode, or the car mode, over. And then this is going to be a little strange. We're going to rotate what are the arms up like that, so that they're pointing towards the bottom of the mode. And then remember that hinge that we were working with earlier? We're actually going to move it such that the hinge stops halfway, like that. Now with the hinges up and down perpendicular to the body of the figure, we're going to take the fists and rotate them such that the bottoms of the fist are pointing straight skyward. And then we're going to fold the arms up straight up and make sure that the thumbs are facing each other, and they are. Now this is where this is going to get a little weird, because what we're going to do is take the arm and collapse it down as far as it'll go. Now, here's the shoulder, and then here's where the arm is. It's out at an angle. We're going to do the same thing over here, like that. And then we're going to collapse the elbow in, like that, and sandwich them up. So we'll sandwich the fists up like that, and then rotate it again. So effectively, what we're doing is we're accordioning the arms up, as you can see. So the arms used to be straight out, and then we accordion them down like that. And then when we do that, we're going to want to rotate this such that the swivel here for this armor is just underneath the accordioned part. And you just kind of have to play with it a little bit, like that. So we want to get the fists like that. The next thing we want to do is get the arms from this position to this position. Now what we first had to do is unplug the hip. If you saw earlier, this piece was actually turned up 90 degrees, and this connector was plugged in to that spot. Now, my directions, do not have this step. And if you don't do this step, the side of the arm is going to hit this peg, and you just won't be able to do it. So, that's one of the things that really makes this part of the transformation really annoying. The other part is just getting it connected. You see this little Tetris L piece? That needs to plug in to this piece right where the edge of my finger is. So we'll rotate that hinge down while holding the canopy, come in and do our best to connect it while that is pointing forward. And this is, as I said, the most annoying part of the procedure. And I'm probably going to have to do it off camera just because it's so finicky and so annoying. But I might be able to do it here for you. Yep, off camera it is. Now that that is complete, I wanted to show you the actual directions. So you see, 18 to 19 is that process. Right there, the piece is extended. They don't tell you to do that until step 20, after you've already done it, or been forced to do it. So I just wanted to show that to you. We want to have the legs pointing, the back of the legs lined up with the bottom of the canopy. So then we can fold up the legs like this, and when we do that, we will then reach off to the side here and flip these parts out. And then that will snap everything into place, and the feet will actually peg into those same flaps that that this part plugs into, like that. And we are just about done. Last thing we're going to do is take the wheels and fold them out, turn it over, and that will allow us to put the guns in. And the guns actually go in, they're actually very tight. And they go in at an angle. I forgot about that. Like that. And finally, the sword. Split the sword like that, and just drop it on. And here we have the helicopter mode. Now, I have to admit, this is a pretty badass helicopter mode, and there's just enough difference between the two modes that they both look equally awesome. Now, in this mode, you can fold these forward. The directions don't say to, but you can, and, well, I just did. Blade spins freely. The guns look awesome. Having it sitting on a desk, though, does look a little weird because it's angled. But if you have a Gundam display, or any other kind of display, like maybe an SH Figuarts display, that's where this thing comes into play. You actually slide it down there, right above those two pegs, and you can actually have it displayed on a Gundam stand. The helicopter mode is a very nice mode indeed, and is a wonderful, wonderful homage to Springer and the G1. Now, the one issue I do have with this mode is, yes, the transformation is a little bit troublesome, but that's not my problem with it. My problem with it is it doesn't hold together all that well. Having everything peg into these two plastic flaps up here, while novel, proves very problematic because, well, things just have a tendency to pop apart and fall apart. But other than that, the figure in this mode looks very good. And getting him back to robot mode is just as easy as it was for vehicle mode, especially if you know what you're doing. And once you transform this a couple of times, you will know what you're doing. Now, I really do appreciate FansProject bringing this figure to market. It's just one of those things that I am really happy for. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it is awesome. And it's so much fun just having a figure like this that you can transform into 3 different modes. It's just great. Now, I originally picked this figure up from BigBadToyStore.com. I believe they still have it in stock at the time of this recording. I'm not certain, but I would check the website just, to be sure. I know a lot of online retailers still have this figure for sale, and he should be pretty easy to find, especially on the aftermarket sites like eBay, and I'm maybe check TF Source and some other sites out there. I believe, I bet Toy Arena might have one. Like I said, this is an excellent figure, and it does have some issues. If you can look past the loose lower half of the figure and the top heaviness, I think you're going to find a wonderful third-party figure. He's a lot, like I said, he's a lot of fun, interesting transformation, and he looks great in all his modes, which can't be said for some other third-party things. But, you know, sometimes you have to pay a little bit of sacrifice for something that's pretty awesome. And yeah, it is a little bit of annoying to have to deal with, but overall, the figure is great. He deserves to be in your collection, and he's just one of those things that I am so glad I picked up. And, you know, once you get a hold of it, I think you'll be happy that you got it too. So, this is Spada, and I will catch you guys next time.